our video recording, we are going over batch printing. Batch printing was not included, but you guys requested this. I said, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Especially because you have all of the items that will set you up for success, right? So you have online photo submission, you're using Instant ID, and with pull from pool, it does create some additional changes that need to be done to the actual workflow. If you didn't have that, then it's a quick and easy duplicating the main workflow and then just adding some additional fields. But to do batch printing, we briefly discussed that, right, on one of our previous sessions. I have created, as I said, a new workflow, and in here, I added the batch printing label. So this is something that we'll need to work on from online photo submission. But let's say, for example, you have an orientation class and you have fall 2025, right? So we would do a search for fall 2025. Get a space. Nope, there it is. And then I did a little bit of a change in order for our fields, right? So this is the most important one. I added the CSN because we'll be able to filter by that. And then, of course, hey, if we don't have a photo, let's not even print those cards, right? So we have to do a search under the advanced section. And this is going to be using a query. I'm going to be able to, type this out. I'll share it with you guys. Just note that everybody that logs in has to either type the query out or copy and paste, right? The one that I'm going to type here shortly, because you can save them, but they are saved under your profile. So we can start by just typing in some of the letters, and it's going to give you a recommendation. Hey, is this the field that you're looking for? Is this the one you want to filter by? So we select that one. As soon as you press the space, it's going to give you the options. So yes, we want to make sure that it's equal to, and we have to put it in single quotes, fall 2025. Then as soon as I press search, keep forgetting that it's not a space. There it is. So I get my result there. But as I said earlier, we don't want to just filter by that. And again, as soon as I press space, I'm adding an additional item. So I want to say, and ID photo or photo ID is not empty. And then, of course, because we have the CSN, I can add another statement there, and CSN is empty. So then when I do a search, now I'm not going to get anybody because, hey, we have printed all of our cards. But as I said, I'm going to copy this and paste it in our chat. That way you have this available. Remember, when you log in, you're going to have to go into the advanced search, paste that in there, and then click save. When you save it, you're just going to get a prompt for what you want to call it. I just use the filters. Batch printing label -ID photo -CSN. But I'll stop right there. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Yeah, Carlos, you lost me from the beginning here. So we have a different workflow, a different credential just for batch printing.
Yes, because of our pull from pool, it has to be a separate workflow.
Okay,
Everything
so
else is, go ahead, sorry.
got it. So batch printing label, what is that a field?
Yes, that's going to be a customer defined field that lives in,
Right.
go ahead.
And we're gonna have to add it to everyone that we want to print.
Correct.
Okay,
So from online photo submission, you can export your customer numbers, right? We're going to be able to say, okay, who has submitted a photo and who have we approved it? So now we'll have an Excel spreadsheet with that information. All you'll need to do is in the column next to the customer number, add our batch printing value, and then we can run a customer import tool to update those customers.
right. That's meaning we're gonna have to know who are, when we approve the photo, that they're a first year student that we want to print in order to label
Yes, that's
them. Okay,
correct. Currently, Lehigh is saying, let's open up online photo submission for everybody on campus or everybody that has an e-account page. Majority of our clients, they separate online photo submission to only incoming freshmen. And that's where they'll send that. No, you don't want that.
it's gonna be open to everyone, as
Okay.
far as I
Um,
know.
yep,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Yeah.
We can limit it, right? And then you can send an automatic email that gets sent from online photo submission, and that's only going to be your incoming freshman list.
Just want to make sure I was clear on all this.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, concerns on our search, our values in here? Now, let's say I'm going to remove this. Let's say with this we have, about 20 of those photos. Um, you're going to be able to do a search, a selection, either by pressing and holding Shift. Here, let me make something slightly better. Let's just say that these are all of our students, right? You can select multiple by pressing and holding Shift. So if you press and hold Shift, then you'll select in continuous order. If you press and hold Control, you can select alternates. Now, after that, you'll notice that my batch field becomes available. That's what we're going to have to press. If I only select one, I can still print in batch, but hey, that's the same thing as if I were to go through load. Let's just say it's these first four. Let's say all the way up here. And just because we don't have some information for that record, we'll skip those. And then I can say batch print. It's going to ask me what printer do you want to send it to? And then from there, select the appropriate printer. Hopper 1 will send our print job over. And then the next page that's going to load, it's going to be the batch printing queues. So from there, you're going to start saying, okay, I'm printing this card, this card, this card, this card. It does it automatically. Let's just say you only have 25 records, right? So showing in here says 25. You can also, if you notice, select all. And then those 25 cards are going to be selected. Same thing, batch printing. Let's send them to our printer. So that's how batch printing is going to work. Uh, any questions, comments, concerns on that? I will now switch over to, the back end, everything that's happening, and mainly asking that question, why do we have an additional workflow? So going to our design section, workflows, batch printing, and then just to show you, or for our recording, what the standard pull from pool process looks like. I'm going to load LUID. And so we have these 9 fields here at the bottom, all of these. And this is pretty much what is configuring the trigger to pull a new number. Lehigh currently is only using card number to pull a random number from the Transact database, but we have to include the rest of these. And then, of course, we have to use the customer number, the unique identifier. So this is a switch to say, hey, do I need to pull in a new number from ISO pool 1? Yes, pull in that number. Do I need to pull it in sequential order? 0 meaning no. And then for our card number, this is just sample data. A 16-digit number is going to be placed in here. And then because this has to be um, not read-only, this has to be a writable field, we created a new one that only stores your ISO number. And this is marked as read-only, but it's looking at the end of the day at my card number. So this one's hidden. It's going to write to it. And then this field over here is just the mirror. And then you're able to see it. Now, behind the scenes, there is a JavaScript file that makes all of this work. And then at the properties step, we have an event configuration, the final trigger that says, go ahead and use those 10 fields and communicate with the Transact database to pull in that new number. This custom process is that JavaScript file that we created for you. All of this lives only on the server, but this is the process for pulling in a new number for single printing. For batch printing, we have to switch it up, change it. We are still using the same 10 fields, but there is a different database procedure. There is no longer an event configuration, or I should remove that. And here I have my run database operation. And there is a procedure on the Transact database that is communicating with Instant ID. And again, using the 10 fields, and here they are just separated. These are the input fields, and these are the output fields. But they have changed slightly, the name of them. But that's why we need a separate workflow. Note that when you do batch printing, you're not going to come in here and make changes. So whatever values we have on that student, we want to make sure that they are correct, because as you saw from the previous demonstration, we list the customers or card holders, we select the ones that need to be printed, and that's it. Once you have selected them, you send them to the printer and they're done. The reason I mention this is because there was a customer that said, well, no, every time we print a new card, we select a different batch background. And so we had to create a classification field so that that is automatically created, but they also had to change their daily import for their customers so that this value was automatically added. Just keep that in mind. This is not impacting Lehigh at the moment. Any questions on the behind the scenes process? Very good. Now, let me pull up this one. So we talked about online photo submission, and I mentioned getting our data out. So these are some of the customers that have submitted a photo. We're going to go into dashboards. And in here, once you click on default, it's going to open up a new window. And this is going to render our data that lives in online photo submission only. So this section, the KPIs, is going to give us some really nice graphs of everything that has been submitted. But if we go into people data, we can export this information. So this is everybody that has logged in to online photo submission. Anybody that has been sent out an email, which is nobody in here. That's why we see for most of these null. We're playing with Steve's account. But this is our important information. So looking at proof count. So we're going to export all of this data, and then we can filter this out with an Excel spreadsheet. That way we can just grab their identifier number, and then in Excel we can add to the next column or in a separate sheet, hey, these are the customers that I need to print, these are the students that I need to print, and then now I can add, the batch printing label, whether you want to follow what I typed in, which was fall space 2025. Some clients say, no, we already have a value for that, FA 25, or something different. The orientation uh, class number. Um, so you can export this by clicking on the ellipses button and then CSV or Excel. Just going to put it temporarily here.
So, Carlos, how are we gonna know like which people we're selecting here? Because like you said, that's not online photo submissions way more than just first year students.
Are you able to obtain a list of like your orientation class?
I mean, I'm
Or
sure we could potentially get a list. I mean, like if we had a list of Lynn's, then we could do a export from here and
yeah,
then compare the two files.
do like a VLOOKUP to say, hey, if you have any of these customers from my orientation in this list, let's match them up and then let's see which ones have an image. Is there a possibility to change your process instead of having e-accounts available for everybody? Let's just, send the internal email from online photo submission for incoming freshmen.
I mean, I guess that wouldn't rule out that many people ultimately, right? All existing people already have their photos in the system. But then we wouldn't be able to offer it to new, faculty, staff, which I believe we want to do. We would want everyone coming through this system. Otherwise, we're doing everything that's not coming into this system manually.
Yeah, but you would also have a list of those new faculty and staff, and you can customize the welcome email template as well to say, okay, this one is for incoming freshman class, 2025. welcome to, Lehigh. This would all be typed up in the email that the campus would work on, right? And then for new faculty and staff, you can also do that. You would say, the employee email templates. Welcome, new Lehigh employee. This is the process for you to submit a photo. Now, you can turn it on and off as many times as you want. What clients do is they always open e-account email templates, right, at the beginning of the semester. And then they'll say, okay, now let's work on, retiring faculty. Hey, do you want to take a new photo? We have already turned on e-accounts for everybody. And then they'll say, go to this site, log in, click on here to submit photo, and then we'll see it on our side. So they'll turn on and off online photo submission through e-accounts after, say, an orientation class.
I mean, could we just have, I mean, we have the expiration date that's coming through Banner that does, a mathematical equation to basically give everyone their estimated graduation date as their expiration date. I mean, wouldn't it be easier? I mean, if we're really, and I only see us batch printing first year students, would it be
Mm.
easier to just have something from Banner, a custom field that said, first year student or the year, the starting year or whatever it is? And then that way from Instant ID, we just filter to that custom field and then batch print that custom field. Then needing to go through all this exporting and comparing to manual, other lists. Um, would that be an option? Does that make sense?
It does, but does that data value live in Banner? And that would be the next question would be for Kurt. Is that something that we can include in our student import?
Yeah, I thought, don't we have the expected graduation?
We do. So that's what I'm saying. Can't we
Oh,
just filter to expected graduation based off of, and that would be based, assuming they're a first year student, if their expected graduation is 2029.
okay. Let me switch over to Transact to see if I can bring that one over. I mean, if it's already there, the answer would be yes. Just waiting for this.
Yeah, sure. No worries. Take your time.
Where are we putting that data field? Do we know?
Door access end date, I believe.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, then I can just add that to Instant ID as a searchable field.
Right, because then we could just search by that. And in essence, Kurt, does that make sense that like anyone with that same date then would be considered the first year, their class?
Yeah, if they're undergrad, right? Any undergrad that has that expected end date would be a first year student.
So what would be an expected end date, Mark?
What would be an expected end date
Yeah,
For
like
first year,
for
for first year? Yeah, what is it?
8/31/2029.
8/31, 2029.
perfect.
And it makes sense, most of them wouldn't have photos right now.
Oh, yeah.
Grad students to yeah, see,
Yeah, but then we could filter it to student, right?
yeah.
So you would do a few of these, right? So you would do, and
Just Q and I would run it by that date anyway.
CSN is empty.
And Mark, you see that there's graduate students there. I don't know, like,
Yeah, we'd have to throw in an and student under for classification, yeah. There's Adam.
yeah, there's Adam. Yeah.
All right. So
And it's
all,
still, oh, CSN is empty. Okay, good. Yeah,
is it safe to say that these are going to be the most important ones along with photo ID? So first four and photo ID.
definitely.
Mhm.
Okay. And
Yeah,
then it's just going to be beneficial to have the rest of these, right? Like our customer number,
yeah,
preferred name.
yeah.
Very good. Let me fix this up. Does it matter the order for you guys in the ID card office? I currently just have batch printing label, DA, end date classification, CSN photo ID, and then the information that we're not filtering, but it's going to help us to see.
Seems, you want it different?
No.
That seems fine.
Okay. And in reality, you don't need batch printing label anymore, right?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I only see us batch printing the first year IDs, right? Do you see
Right.
anything more than that? I mean, We talked about batch printing in the sense that like we can do it from the normal workflow where we can select 10 IDs if we see them in front of us
Mm.
and
But
hit
but
print, right?
yeah, I mean the column itself, like we're
Yeah,
not going to
yeah.
be filtering by this
I
anymore.
can't imagine we're gonna go the
Now,
route of,
now if we just did that other
yeah,
query, which used to be MySQL anyway, like I said, so
you did the same thing to
Yeah.
get your first year with.
by 8/31/2029, 10 student photo and no, no CSM.
Perfect.
We run that, we're gonna get exactly what we need every time.
That makes sense. Yep.
Would you say that date was 08/24?
20
Or
or 31, 2029. So in essence, every year we have to go and update that date, right? Which isn't a big deal.
note that this is case sensitive in here. With your basic search, it is not case sensitive,
Gotcha.
but you can turn it on and off from the query as well.
Mark, how do you handle the new graduate students?
In terms of printing them,
Yeah.
we usually just wait until they come in and then
Okay.
we look them up and print them. We usually tell them that it's ready when they submit their photo and all of that. But we've had a lot of issues with grad students just never coming to pick up their ID, so we try to avoid printing those in advance
Gotcha.
unless we know they're coming.
Gotcha.
All right, so this is the data that we want, the query that we want. I just pasted that in our chat. That way you can have it there. And again, because this has come up before. Hey, I noticed that you saved it. It's not coming up on my drop-down list. It's not going to appear under your account. You have to copy, paste that into your account, and then save it so that you can continue to reuse it. And then, as Mark already said, you just need to update the date every time you print.
Every year. Got it. Good.
I think with that, we have covered and found a better solution for batch printing. We fixed
Yeah,
it
I
on the
mean,
fly.
we may go down the road and obviously, we'll reach out if we need assistance, but if we had to batch print on for other groups, I mean, we could work on that. If it's not something we already have as a custom field, we could do that.
Yeah. And Elena, I don't know if you were talking to us, but you were on mute, or maybe she's on another call. All right. So I think we're good to go. Any questions, comments, concerns?
I don't think so. I think that simplifies it from there.
And then in terms of how fast can, these cards be outputted, um, it's gonna be the same as if you were to print, it's gonna be almost the same as if you were to print one by one, right? Because it's doing all this printing and it's limited to our printers. You might have noticed it takes about a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes per print, max, I would say. The great benefit is that, oh, I have 20 cards that I need to print. I'll select them and go ahead, printer. Keep on doing your job. I'm going to be working on something else. you don't have to go search one by one, click print, and go through all that process. So you are saving a little bit of time in terms of the searching, the clicking on print, all of that. Um, but in terms of our output, it's about the same. A minute and a half to 2 minutes per card.
Makes sense. Is there a recommendation on how many at a time?
Good question. No more than,
I mean, obviously, a ribbon and a fully loaded hopper can only do so many, but that seems like a lot also. I mean, I'm gonna be leery on, saying print 200 with, in one shot, groups of 25 or something like that. Is there a strategy that works?
Yeah, the printers have an input for nitrous oxide. No, I'm just kidding. Um, you can add these hoppers, but they're pretty pricey.
oh no, we don't want to add.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
can't imagine we'd go more than what it can hold, But I didn't know if there was a reason to maybe cut back on even that number.
I would stick to 25 cards because of our input hopper limit. This would be the additional one, so you have 6 hoppers. But I've showed this to clients and they're like, no, 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 I don't want,
That's
full
crazy.
on print. I just want something right in the middle, maybe 50, 75, 100. I think there was one campus that was looking into these, and I never heard anything after that. I've seen them in action, like they're great, but that's like credit card printing,
Yeah,
debit card printing. That's
cool. Yeah, we'll never go that high.
yeah. I think I heard someone said that's cool. Yeah, that's about it. Oh, that's cool. That's cool that it can do that. That's not for us.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I would just do 25, especially for troubleshooting, right?
Right.
Yes.
If the printer hopper goes out, you didn't, realize that it didn't have that many. Which one did it stop at?
Mm.
It creates a
You
mini
know,
conflict for
yeah.
Lehigh. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I was thinking, is there any indication when we do that query to get this list in the first place? Is there anything that will indicate what's been printed and what hasn't been printed? In
Your
terms of
CS,
us, like you select the first 25, you got to remember where the next 25, starts, or do they go away?
they're gonna disappear from our search query because
Like,
of one key item, the CSN. The
got it. So the
CSN,
CSN
yeah,
will now be there. Got it. Perfect.
yeah,
All right.
yep, yep. I was just gonna say the great design of Lehigh using the CSN, put you ahead of some of the clients because it'll say, I don't know. And hey, they're not using the CSN, right? They printed 25 and it ran out of cards. Someone took some of them out. I don't know which one got printed. But yeah,
Cool. Very cool.
any any other questions? Anything else?
So,
Alrighty. Well, I'll send I'll send an email with some of the notes that we have, and I'll include our query that we made on our call, the new and improved query. Um, but I think we are good. Um,
that will help a lot. Appreciate it, Carlos.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Just because you asked nicely. No, I'm just kidding. Will, I think you wanted to say something, or
Well, just want to make sure, like, between that new credential deal you batch on the homepage, that's gonna show up for
Everybody.
everyone.
we're all administrators right now. Thank you for
Administrators,
reminding me. Who else should
uh,
have access to that?
Everyone, right?
Everyone?
Users.
yep. Last time, remember our coordinators who, oh, that's right, we don't have any right now. But anyway, when we do have them.
I'll add it to them just in case.
Nope. We're gonna want them to do the batch printing,
All right, so
even though Mark's itching to.
I'm itching to hit print on a lot of cards. Yeah, let's do it.
very good. All right, so all other groups have it. I didn't add it for applicants because we discussed it earlier, but this is a blank group. It has no roles whatsoever.
Great. Great.
Alrighty. Well, if we don't have any other questions, we'll get a few more minutes back in our day. Thank you for your time, and I'll send the video recording as well.
Great. That's great.
All right. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
We'll see you, everybody.
All right. Talk soon. Bye.
Look around it.